What's up, good people? What's up, good people? Welcome to Bernard Riley Reviews, where we attack ideas and not people. I'm going to be doing a review today of the discussion between Stefan Lavoisier and Alpha Male Strategies. Alpha Male Strategies actually interviewed Stefan Lavoisier on his channel. I thought this was going to be a really good opportunity of opposing ideologies coming to the table to have a discussion. Stefan Lavoisier, for those that don't know, as far as dating coaches, black male dating coaches for women, Stefan Lavoisier is probably the second biggest one other than Derek Jackson, which means he's probably the biggest one right now. I can't think of another one that's bigger, so there's that. So I've always said to myself, wouldn't it be interesting if somebody like Alpha Male Strategies and Derek Jackson got in the same room to have a discussion? How would that go? This is the closest thing we're going to get to it. Maybe if Derek Jackson hadn't done the thing that he did, maybe Alpha Male Strategies would have reached out to Derek Jackson. But he reached out to Stefan Lavoisier for an interview. So we're about to see how it goes. Let's get it.
I'm a red pill channel, but I got a lot of guys over here that purple pill that want to get into relationships, still believe in love and all that stuff. So for the guys, and I would say that's the majority of the guys over here. I would say 85% of the guys over here still, believe in love, still want to settle down one day. So for those guys, I felt like it was fair to have a relationship guy on here, a guy who still believes in, love and all that stuff like that. The number one thing I want.
He said 85% of his people, I'm assuming his paying clients, I'm not quite sure that 85% of the listening audience are guys who actually want relationships. The reason that that's interesting, because we talked about this on my previous show. I talked about it with Mumia Obsidian Ali, how the dating coach industry for men sells the lavish lifestyle, the Hugh Hefner Playboy type of lifestyle. But when you scratch beneath the surface, the guys who are actually paying customers of a dating coach, they're just guys who will just be happy if they can get a girl, and they'll just be with one girl and just love her. And they just want to get that one girl, and that's interesting. And I compare that to how with Kevin Samuels, what he does, he sells the high value man thing. That's what draws them in, but behind the scenes, it turns into a real discussion with dating coaches for women, where behind the scenes they do have to give them an honest appraisal and let them know what they really qualify for. But the high value man is the carrot, the bait. That's what draws them in. It's a certain lifestyle that draws women in. It's a certain lifestyle that draws men in. But in reality, what's actually what they're actually deliver on is something completely different on both sides. I even heard rumors, I can't confirm it, but I heard rumors that even Derek Jackson behind the scenes, when talking to women, he would tell them something a little more truthful. But Kevin Samuels is unique because we're actually seeing it on screen, the thing that he's doing, where he's giving them the truth of what they actually qualify for and what they should be wanting. So it's just a difference in the levels of expectation with the public image of what dating coaches offer and what they sell versus what the customer actually gets and what the customer actually wants. What the customer actually gets versus what they initially wanted coming in. Those are two different things. But with the male dating coach, it's very unique. It's very unique because every male dating coach sells the Playboy image, but most of their customers are just looking for just one girl.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think men and women come into this situation with delusional standards? Well, you have guys out here that they can get a woman, but they want to get that super hot Instagram woman. And the women out here, they all want to get, as my man Kevin Samuels say, that high value man, right? Mm-hmm. And so do you think, I know Kevin says, just the women are delusional. I think some of the men are delusional also, as into what is on their level. What's your take on that?
Really quick on that one, because we're going to listen to Steph's response, but it's worth pointing out that Kevin Samuels would be the most qualified to say which gender is the most delusional. Why? because he's actually worked with both genders. He's the only one that has done that. So he would be the most qualified to actually say which one is the most delusional. And he says it's women by a mile.
I absolutely believe there's delusion on both sides. You know what I'm saying? And I think, again, the internet or IG has contributed greatly to that. Because, you know, one thing I've learned, this is what I believe. Mm-hmm. If you ever seen a girl that you met in person, right? And you were attracted to her. But then later you saw her IG and you were like, if I would have saw her IG first, I would have never hollered at her.
Right.
Not necessarily because she's doing, you know, provocative stuff, but she don't look as cute online as she did in person.
Right.
So,
I'm a little confused about that one. Like, what is Stefan Labossiere talking about right there? Every woman looks better on her Instagram. Like, they don't get better in person. I've seen 3 women, maybe two or three, where I was like, wow. Like, she showed up on the date, and that's when we matched on the dating app. Saw her Instagram. She showed up, and I was like, wow, she's better looking in person. That happened twice in my life. Twice. Everybody's better online. So I don't know what he's talking about right there. But we're gonna let him. We're gonna hear him out. We're gonna hear him out.
So now, okay, her ass ain't big enough, or this is wrong, or that's wrong. Whereas in person, it's kind of more energy in that instant. All right, once you find something you like about her, you kind of attach to that and you flow from there. So I definitely think that it creates delusion there. And then on the women's side, they keep seeing these trips and these gifts and all this lavish living that isn't even a reality in 95% of the cases, I would argue. But that now makes them feel like, well, why can't I have that? And so rather than being happy with a dude who can be at least, because I still believe as a man, you need to at the very least be financially stable. You ain't got to be rich, but you got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet.
Right.
But there are a lot of women, or at least a lot of quote unquote desirable women who are, they're putting money on a high pedestal, but everybody's paying a price though, because you focus too much on trying to date out your league, you're going to find yourself, getting screwed over in that situation. A lot of those women focusing on the wrong thing, ending up in bad, toxic relationships. So everybody needs to understand, like, once upon a time, we were happier with less, not in a bad way, but in a good, healthy way. And now I do think that it's gotten a little ridiculous.
Now,
okay, there was a bit of truth in the whole thing about what Steph is saying about women seeing people taking trips and doing stuff, and they're expecting that, and they're wanting that, and they're looking at people living allegedly flashy lives on Instagram, and yet they're wanting that more. And then there's the thing where men are looking at women, like I said, looking more attractive than what they really are, or they're just seeing we're bombarded with beautiful women on thanks to Instagram. Here's the thing, and I think AMS knows this, and I'm trying not to criticize him because I understand that he's doing business right now and he's just conducting an interview and he's not really challenging the position, even though he did say that he does think men are delusional. And yes, there are a lot of men that are operating in delusion. Yes, there are a lot of men who want certain things that they don't necessarily qualify for. That is true. But in the majority of cases, I've been saying this for a long time and I'm going to keep saying it. Men, we tend to stay in our lane because when we get out of our lane, women let us know really fast and quick that we're out of our lane. We get instant data and feedback when we're out of our lane. And staying in our lane makes the difference between having a sex life and not having a sex life. Because it's hard to get sex from somebody who's not in your lane. So if staying in our lane and not being delusional makes the difference between getting one off or not getting one off, by all means, we're going to not be delusional and we're going to stay in our lane. Now, we're going to have things that we want, that we can achieve, that we can strive for. And AMS actually did give him a solid response to this one, even though what you're going to see in a lot of this interview, he conducted like an interview and he didn't really challenge it, which I challenge anything that Steph said, which I feel is a missed opportunity because it was competing ideologies where one person holds on to like the Derrick Jackson type of view of things, whereas the other person has the more red pill perspective. And it was a good time where they didn't have to fight or argue, but I would have liked to see a challenging of certain ideas, views, and perspectives. And you're going to see what I mean as the interview goes on.
Now, this is the issue. What I tell guys is, I believe that you should have the confidence that you can attract, the quality of woman you want, even in the situation you're in. So what's the fine line between having confidence and being delusional? Because like, even with me, even when I was a bouncer and I wasn't making no money and I was overweight, quote unquote overweight, I still felt like I was entitled to hot chicks. And I can still pull hot chicks, right? So what's that fine line between, confidence and being delusional, in your opinion?
Now, it's worth pointing out that Alpha Male Strategy said that he has to tell guys that you can have the confidence to go and get that hot chick regardless of the condition that you're in. You see what's happening there? He's having to give the guys confidence that they can get this woman that they don't qualify for. The flip side, on the female side of it, they're coming in with that confidence, thinking that they could get something that they don't qualify for, and they have to get talked down from that ledge by Kevin Samuels. You see the difference? Like, that confirms what I'm saying, that men are not delusional out here in the dating game. Yes, there are extreme examples. There's a few YouTube channels that showcase those extreme examples. But for the most part, I don't like when they try to equalize the delusion.
Okay, because in this day and age, going through the MeToo era with everything that's going on with that, how do you recommend for men to protect themselves in the MeToo era? You got to even be careful how you approach women these days. And shout out my girl Chana. I see you promoting my man Stefan Page. I appreciate that, Chana. I don't think we'll appreciate it. How can men protect themselves, in your opinion, in this era that we living in? Because you got to be safe these days.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is communication early on. Okay. And I think to achieve that, you're going to have to probably slow down the process of trying to sleep with her a little bit, at least a little bit, because, so for example, you can go on a date with a girl, right? And it's the first night, everything pops off well, and y'all end up having sex. And let's just say, this is going to be an extreme example, but let's just say she was molested once. Right. So this girl has triggers, all right? But you don't know anything about her. So you have no idea what triggers she has. You don't even know that when you were coming onto her, she may have been very uncomfortable, but doesn't know how to express that. Now, even though that's not technically your fault as a man, because she should be open about these things, if we move too fast, especially in this era, we're going to miss the warning signs. We're going to miss the issues. So I think that if we just at least slow it down some and have discussions about, all right, what is a way that you can let me know you're uncomfortable? Where's the line that you draw so I know up front? You know what I'm saying? And also, I would just advise for men, until you are with a woman, and even then you can argue it, don't mess around with drunk women. All right, what is a way that you can let me know you're uncomfortable? Where's the line that you draw so I know up front? You know what I'm saying? And also,
now this is funny because AMS just sitting there like, where we know full well that AMS is not in the business of asking, where's the line where you could let me know where you get uncomfortable? Where's the line that where things are getting like, is it okay if I put my hand on your knee right here? Is that okay? Like, those words were never uttered by a man who was given sexual access at any point in the future. Even with the best intentions, if you're pursuing each other for long-term relationships, she's still going to view you as weak AMS knows that, but again, it goes back to what I said at the beginning. This was a missed opportunity where two competing ideologies didn't have to get in a ring and fight, but I would have liked an honest critique of some of the things that Labossiere was saying.
Down some and have discussions about, all right, what is a way that you can let me know you're uncomfortable? Where's the line that you draw so I know up front? You know what I'm saying? And also, I would just advise for men, until you are with a woman, and even then you can argue it, don't mess around with drunk women. Like, if she's drunk, you don't know which way this can go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You could swear everything was cool. You could swear she was coherent enough to want to get down. But that story could change real fast, and she can say, well, she was drunk. And today's era, drunk is not going to be a scapegoat that you can use.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
I agree with that part. We got to rethink as men how we've done this whole thing, going out, drinking. I don't even like to say getting women drunk because they choose to drink. So I don't like to say getting women drunk, but yeah, it does need to be some recalibration on the whole thought process between women, alcohol, and sex. So I can agree with them right there.
A scapegoat that you can use.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I would say you got to stay away from that, but just have a lot of communication to really try to understand what may be potential issues. You may not always be able to discover all of them, but I do think that if you show a willingness to be mindful, it's less likely you're going to find yourself in a situation where she's going to turn on you, or it's going to turn into a MeToo situation.
Brother, that was good. Let me ask you this. Guys who have seen the worst of female nature, and they done scared them off from wanting to do relationships and stuff, whatever it be, whether it's divorce, whatever the case may be, where they scorned or they jaded or whatever. How can they ever get to a place to where the guys who want to be in relationships ever get to a place to where they can trust women again, even though they've been jaded like that or had a bad experience and seen the bad side of women?
So, one, there's healing, but before I even get to the healing, I want to make one point. So I think that as men, we have to understand. So like, you know how women always say, all these men are dogs, all these men are this, right?
Right.
And I'll tell women, like, listen, I've seen dudes who were quote unquote dogs to 10 women in a row, but then met the woman that he was really into and completely changed everything. All right. And was willing to pour into her. So I think that we have to recognize that when we deal with the wrong people, they're more than likely going to do jacked up stuff. They're going to end up doing things that hurt us. But that isn't a symptom of them being a woman. That's a symptom of you're dealing with the wrong person. All right. The same way that you could be a good dude. You could be a genuinely good dude. But let's be real. If you get with a chick and let's say you're not really into her, but damn, she look good. Damn, you just want to link up with her. You're going to end up looking like the bad guy in that situation. Almost no matter what you do. Is it because you're genuinely a bad guy? No, it's because you're dealing with the wrong one. You're not dealing with someone you're serious about. So you're going to end up behaving in ways that can come across unhealthy.
Did y'all catch that blue pill that he just threw out there on the table? That if you're dealing with a woman and you're not genuinely serious about her with long-term intentions, he didn't say long-term intentions, but that's what he meant. If you're dealing with a woman and you're not genuinely serious about her and wanting to be with her, then you're going to end up looking like the bad guy regardless of what happens. To say that is to imply that women are strictly dealing with guys with pure long-term relationship intentions. That's what that would have to imply. Now again, AMS, I keep going back, he's been a businessman, he's collaborating with another prominent YouTuber, but I know in his heart of hearts, his real answer is that no. I'm not even going to say what his real answer, I'm going to say what my real answer is. They don't call it men manipulating women culture. They call it hookup culture. They call it hookup culture because both parties are complicit and both parties are volunteering to do it. Both parties are swiping right on dating apps. Both parties are swiping. So that's why I said he smuggled in another blue pill by saying that if your intentions with her is not right, no matter what happens, even if just some casual sex happens, two people get together, they met up, they hooked up, they went out for drinks. See, there's that going out for drinks. That's that not getting them drunk thing again. She wanted to drink, left her own devices, she would have drank anyway. But then we're saying, don't get them drunk. That's going to increase the probability of you getting MeToo'd. But there's that. But so anyway, you meet a chick, y'all go out for drinks, y'all go to the house, y'all hook up, y'all have sex, y'all maybe do it again, and then y'all casually, fall back from each other. He's saying that no matter what, you're going to be looking like the bad guy in that situation. That's to imply that all women go into every sexual situation wanting a relationship out of it, and that's not how things are operating nowadays. So again, that's another blue pill he's stuck in there, smuggled in under the table. And AMS is just riding with it because I understand he's being a businessman, but this was a missed opportunity for him to say, no, man, come on. You know that women be actually wanting to hook up. So if you go into it, you don't got to be really into her. You could just want her for sex, Stefan Labossiere, and you could just come at her making all the sexual moves, and she's with it because she's throwing the sexual rhythm back at you when y'all have sex, and it is what it is. You didn't do nothing wrong. And then Steph would break character and be like, yeah, dog, I know, I be doing that too. That's what I was hoping would happen in this interview. But AMS, you missed an opportunity. You missed an opportunity. That's my biggest takeaway from all of this, is that AMS missed an opportunity. He didn't have to interrogate him. They didn't have to fight, but he could have. When the blue pill was tossed across the table, AMS could have just tossed the red pill back and then just saw what Stefan Labossiere did with that red pill in his hand. That's all I wanted to happen here. I watched the whole interview just hoping that happened, and it didn't happen. So AMS,
guys, it's a red pill channel, but a lot of guys will openly say over here that, they're going to settle down one day. They would flat out just tell you, they're going to have a little fun for a couple of years, but they're going to tell you that I do want to settle down one day. But they want it to be for love and not security. What would you tell those guys who have that fear of a woman just marrying them for security and not love?
So the first question a man has to ask himself in that situation is, are you truly in love with her? So my thing is this. You're focused on if she's one. It's true. There are tons of women out there only marrying for security, marrying because their family is pushing them to get married because they want to have a kid. All kinds of reasons other than they're truly into this man or he's the man they have the strongest feelings for. This is a fact. However, as a man, we can't be so focused on them that we lose sight of ourselves. And so now when you're dealing with that woman, again, if you're choosing her because she logically makes sense, she cooks for me, she looks good, my family likes her, right? But you gotta go deeper than that. Do you truly love her? Is this really love, or are you just attached? Is this really love, or are you just infatuated? Because if you're not truly in love, then I can tell you right now, she ain't truly in love with you.
Again, and this is the last point that I'm going to make on this. I'm going to put the link in the chat so y'all can watch the whole interview. I recommend you watch the whole interview. It was some it was a good interview, but I got to stop it right there on that last part where he said, if you're not truly in love with her, or she won't love you, or if you truly love her, she'll love you. He basically saying, and he went on to say that love is a two-way street. So if you're not truly in love with her, then she's not going to love you. And we know what AMS would say if he kept it real. He would say no. I've took the soul of the third woman in my rotation, and she could have came and went and I wouldn't even care, but she was absolutely in love with me and would iron my dirty drawers if I asked her to. So again, it goes back to what I've been saying from the beginning. This is the last time you're going to hear me say it, is that if he would have just gave his response to the question, and sometimes when you're interviewing somebody, you just want to ask the question and let them speak. But sometimes in some interview situations, yes, the interview the interviewer will give their opinion. I do that when I interview people. I put my opinion out there, or if they say something I disagree with, I'll let them know why I disagree. He didn't exactly go that route, so again, missed opportunity. But I would have loved to hear him say that, no, you cannot love a chick and she can genuinely love you. I would have loved to hear AMS just go that hard with it. But he didn't do that. But looking at the bright side, I do love that that Red Pill is expanding in the sense that Kevin Samuels is going mainstream. There's other channels that are not considered a part of the manosphere. That's not considered Red Pill. That's not considered any of that. That they want a piece of the action. They would have before never stepped foot in that type of arena. Now, when they come into the arena, I don't want to see Red Pill manosphere type of men, punk out. Not saying that he punked out, because I mean he conducted an interview. That's what he's doing now. He's doing interviews. So I'm not saying he punked out, but I don't want it to go like that every time. I do want there to be some challenging of ideas, some back and forth exchange, and not just a dry interview. And that's essentially what he gave him, is what it would amounted to, a dry interview where he just asked him questions and Lavoisier gave answers. If the real AMS, would the real AMS please stand up, he would have disagreed with that statement. And I just would have liked to have seen the back and forth. But it was overall a good discussion. It was a start. It was a step in the right direction. If people who's literally in Derek Jackson's camp is feeling safe to come into the manosphere and chop it up. I kind of like that. But that's Bernard Raleigh Reviews, and we're going to leave it right there. And we are out of here. Peace.